It's the OG. Alongside Joe Giglio, I'm Joe Ovies, and in studio with us as we get ready for the Masters is Chris Finn, Par4Success, out there by RDU. Chris, what's going on, man?
Not much. Excited to be here.
It's funny, like the NCAA tournament's winding down. We don't have any more local teams on the men's side of things, so folks are just kind of like,
unfortunately, they've fallen.
They look up and they go, wait, what's next? Okay, so we got the Hurricanes. Cool. The playoffs are right around the corner. And oh, yes, all the commercials for the Masters are reminding me that it's almost that time. And like, look, everybody in the audience knows I'm about as casual of a golf guy as there is, but the Masters is something you have to watch. And as a casual guy, I go, all right, how's Tiger doing?
Yeah.
But with Tiger Woods now, and I feel like I've been having this argument with folks for a long time, the expectations for what Tiger Woods is as a golfer now has to be completely different from where it was 10 years ago, and how we view his Masters success in a few weeks has to be viewed through that lens too. So from your perspective, and how do you kind of view where Tiger is with how much he plays and how his body can handle this?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, Joe. I mean, with Tiger, no, let's be honest. Any average golfer, you hear Tiger in the Masters, you think he's going to win.
Of course,
right? That is the expectation.
No, it's hard to dislodge that. It really is. We're like, oh, I really feel like Tiger, and you can have a hell of a Thursday first round, and people will be like, hey, Tiger's back.
Oh, he's winning.
My Twitter timeline is just like flowing with Tiger takes, right? But I also know, but something's going to happen.
Well, and that's, I think, one of the things we do at Par4Success is we're huge on research. And I think one of the cool things, and although sad for anyone over the age of 41, is at 41, there's a shelf and people fall off it. And so physically.
I just turned 44. This is lovely to hear. Lovely to hear.
So you've been falling for 3 years.
I have. Yeah, nowhere to go.
But basically, when we talk about competitiveness in golf, there's there's a very direct correlation between how far people hit the ball and how much money they make. And that's one of the big things with Tiger's. Oh, he's his legs and his back, and is he going to be able to compete? Is he going to be able to play as well as he used to? And one of the big concerns initially was, can he hit the ball as far? And anyone listening who's over the age of 40 is real. Hey, I remember how far I used to hit it when I was in college, right? And so I think one of the big misnomers for Tiger was his horrific injuries and broken bones. And
yeah,
but what people don't realize is all of his injuries happened in his trail leg. So he's a right-handed player. So his right leg is his back leg. When we talk about generating club head speed and performing in golf, it's really mostly lead leg driven. So for a right-handed player, their left leg, in Tiger's case, for a lefty like a Phil Mickelson, is right leg. So if you're going to break your leg as a golfer, your trail leg's actually the one to go after and break.
Fair enough.
And we saw this, early in the year when he's hitting ball speeds 178, 180. Like he's hitting the ball just as far as ever, and he's making jokes with JT, as he's walking down the fairway, right? And so I think when it comes to how can he compete from a distance perspective and from a speed perspective, 100% he can.
Okay.
And I think that's that's a shining star in the sky for everyone who's old right now.
Tiger.
Not everyone's Tiger.
Has that money. Not everybody has what does he have in his backyard down in Jupiter? He's got 3 holes or something like that he can play on and play every day.
He's got a lot more than I do, that's for sure.
Yeah. So there you go.
But I think the bigger question is really, and for him it's between shots and the walking, and that's the big thing with Augusta is the elevation changes. Is I think it's like 10 stories from one top to bottom.
Yeah.
And that's really where his big struggles are going to be, and because of the injuries and his ability to walk and whatnot, really the golf swing itself is actually the easiest part for him. It's really going to be, does he have the ability to play for all 4 rounds plus the practice round? And that's where a lot of his team's focus has been on.
So what do you think he's doing that can also be applied to an everyday person who, it's bachelor party season, right?
Yep.
And a lot of these, or I got some friends who do these annual getaways where they go and play, X amount of holes of golf somewhere. And maybe they're going down to Pinehurst for a long weekend and they want to play multiple holes of golf. That first day is going to be easy for somebody. You go out to dinner, you have some drinks, everything else. You're doing your normal adult thing. How can you? What's the difference between somebody like Tiger who has to pace himself over those 4 days versus, say, somebody who just wants to enjoy a weekend without waking up the next day feeling like crap?
Yeah, I think one big difference is the dollar signs you're playing for.
Of course.
Now, the pride doesn't change. Now, you lose to your buddies on that golf trip, the pride is still a factor. But I think when we're talking physically, really anybody listening who has some of those trips coming up, and the azaleas are blooming, that's what everyone's eyes go to, right?
Yeah.
And I think when we look at a golfer, there's basically two big things that people care about. Number one is they have to care about, there's 4 rotational centers that a golfer has. So they have to be able to rotate in their neck, which I know Joe has some issues there now.
Yeah, Gilio has some of those issues, shoulder, lower back, all that fun stuff. Yeah.
So shoulder's number 2.
Yeah.
Shocker. Your thoracic spine, which is basically your spine under your neck, but before your belly button. And then you have your hips. Those are the big 4.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is when we test, we've tested over 7,000 golfers. Every golfer, I think it's 88% of amateur golfers fail at least one of those 4 tests. So pretty much you can make a pretty solid bet that if you got 10 golfers, 9 of them are not going to be able to pass all 4 of those tests. And when that happens, that puts additional stress because your shoulders or hips can't rotate on your back, for instance, or on golfer's elbow or knee issues, right? So you get all these injuries that start to occur, and it's really comes from the issues in those 4 main centers. So I think one of the big things we've done is we have this free home assessment that we give people. They can literally takes less than 5 minutes.
Okay.
And they literally can just take the assessment and figure out, do I have a problem in any of these 4? What does it mean? And most importantly, what the heck do I do about it?
Okay.
Right. And if a golfer can fix one of those 4 areas, or if we can get it to usually 4 to 6 weeks, we can fix all of those.
Yeah.
But first thing is just knowing you have a problem. Second thing is then actually doing something about it. That to me, any golfer listening, for Tiger, he has to be able to rotate in those other 4 areas in order to take stress off of the injuries. Anybody who's got back issues or elbow issues, those are compensatory injuries. And it's really, if you can get your main joints rotating, then all of a sudden those things kind of go away. So if you got a golf trip or anything like that, those guys really, all we need to do is just keep those rotational areas as clean as possible, and we we can be successful.
Now, are you altering somebody's swing in order to make sure that this? I mean, look, I'm not going to using myself as an example of this is terrible because I golf like 2 or 3 times a year, usually for some sort of charity event or a company event, things like that. I do know this though. I would love to have my swing analyzed by your test just to see how wrong everything I'm doing, because I'll wake up the next day sore.
So what the cool thing is you can't look at somebody's swing and go, oh, those are the 5 things wrong with their body.
Okay, gotcha.
But what you can do, I mean, I can probably make some good money at like a carnival doing that at this point after 7,000 swings in, 7,000 golfers in. But what you can do from a scientific standpoint is I can look at those 4 centers, like literally do it with you right now in less than 5 minutes. I can say, hey, I bet these 4 or 5 things are present in your golf swing that are causing issues. Because if your shoulder doesn't move, you're probably coming over the top and your upper body dominant, and you're probably slice the ball, right? Or, hey, your hip doesn't move. I bet you kind of fall back a little bit.
I definitely fall back.
See, look, we didn't even do the test, and I already can tell you what's most common.
Me out. I mean, basically, imagine a kid who grew up playing baseball and only baseball.
Yep.
And then you hand him a golf club. Hi, that's me.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm swinging that thing like I would a baseball bat, and it's not good. It's not good for golf.
And then add 40-something years of life on top of
weight.
it.
You had a whole bunch of stuff to this. It definitely factors in.
And I think that's the cool thing that anybody listening, and our goal really at Par4Success is to make this known to people, is that at this point the physical side of things is very much if A, then do B, and C will occur. It is the easy part. The golf swing is hard enough. I mean, you can speak to how hard the game is, that literally half of what you're trying to do in a swing is affected by your body, and that 50% is just totally if A then B then C, and in literally 5 minutes we can figure out 75% of the issues and tell people what to do. And I think that's the cool thing of the science, and being I joke that we're the nerds of golf, and it works out for everybody else. But it's really being able to understand, hey, if we fix these 4 things, then you could actually have a chance at trying to swing the golf club like you're supposed to. But until you do those 4 things, good luck, man.
So I'm curious. So you said this is something that you can just give to somebody to do at home.
Oh yeah,
some sort of at-home test. But you're moving into a new facility later this summer, right? I mean, how many square feet we talking here?
Yes, we have 11,000 square feet. We'll have multiple simulators in there where we can, and we have so we're nerds. We got launch monitors. We've got force plates where we measure the force you're putting in the ground. 3Ds for measuring what your body's doing. There's we got a 5,000 square feet of it is a state of the art golf performance gym.
So who is this for exactly?
Yeah,
because I get a basic sense of what I'm doing wrong, but this sounds like this is somebody who they're about to retire and they're going to be playing a lot of golf, and they want to make sure they can do all that stuff comfortably, right?
Yeah, so I think there's a kind of a wide breadth of people. We see a lot of juniors in there who are trying to play to the collegiate level. As we kind of start young and go older, right? We've got a lot of the college guys who are in college or trying to play professionally. We've got a lot of our tour guys. I think the bigger group that it's for, though, is for those of you who are trying to play the game of golf and are battling, neck things like Joe, or even if you got, hey, I got 3 charity events coming next week. Next I got to play like 3 weeks in a row, and I know if I play, my back's going to be jacked up.
It will, yes.
Right. So like, hey, come on over in 3. Give you stuff to do in over 3 weeks, and we'll make sure you're good to go, so you can enjoy those 3 weeks. Right.
Okay.
So there's really the recreational golfer who's not going to be playing a ton, but just doesn't want to hurt.
That would be me. Yes.
And then we have the guy who's playing 4 or 5 times a week, single digit, playing competitively. But the other piece of what we do is we do have a physical therapy element to it as well, and that's because of the way and all the research we do. We also get a lot of people who've failed therapy 4 or 5 different other therapists or doctors, and they're coming in, and then we're kind of like a lot of times, thankfully, the last stop. And we're able to help them.
When you say failed, what do you mean? Like either it just didn't stick, it wasn't something that was enjoyable for that person. How does that work?
So it's a lot of times it's the diagnosis wasn't done correctly, and it's not necessarily because of the a lot of it's just the model of the way healthcare is, where you get 3 people at a time, and hopefully they catch something. And the way we do things is it's an hour one-on-one with everybody, and so it's kind of a cool place where we approach things differently, and then really our goal is to obviously golfers are our primary of who we're working with, and and helping anyone who's trying to get better, figure out what is the best way to do that, and try to get them there as quick as possible.
So, Chris, if somebody wanted to go online, find you online, Google Par4Success, is there an app you can download right now, or? So
we've got a couple of, so basically any of the social platforms, it's just Par4Success.
Okay.
We created this home assessment free. Anyone listening, they go to Par4Success, PR4Success.com/radio, and they can grab the free assessment for free. It's interactive. They literally in 5 minutes will know if their joints are screwed up or not, or there's some power tests and other stuff in there that's really cool for people to figure out. But we also have we've got an on-demand platform, Par4Success, Roku, Amazon Fire Stick. They can go there and check that out. We're trying to kind of be everywhere we can to possibly give people the right information on the best way to enjoy the game and enjoy life.
All right, very cool. So I'm going to hold you to Joe and I coming out there. He'll actually get something that hopefully will carry over. And I'm just going for your own amusement, so you could see how just wonky my swing is, and you're just going to shake your head like, no, just like, why even? No, I'm kidding. But I would be curious to see what you think about my awful swing that gets made fun of a lot. I'm all arms, man. I'm all arms.
Maybe, what we'll probably find is you're probably the most efficient guy for doing it the most wrong. We'll try to find some silver lining out of this.
Look, whether it's Gilio or Gold or anybody else here at the station who has had the pleasure of golfing with me, they'll be somewhat impressed at my ability to get up and down. Like I can move the ball.
Yeah.
All right. It ain't pretty, but I can get it going. It goes forward.
There's no pictures on the scorecard yet.
Right. Exactly. Anyway, Chris, appreciate it, man.
My pleasure.